Well, good afternoon. I think this is probably one of the largest gatherings we've had for a park dedication, and it's very, very encouraging, and I'm sure it is to the Hiras as well too. Before I get started, I want to just introduce some of the distinguished guests, and probably be easier for us to introduce ourselves than it would be to name them, so I might miss some, but I will just say that we have Anita Rollins and Rachel. Where'd you go? All right, Rachel, Junk, our city council members. I call her my mayor, Ann Campbell, former mayor. Where are you at, Ann? Are you hiding somewhere? There you are. All right. And I believe Joni Tedesco is here. All right, so this is the wife of Ted. And also I understand that Pam Curtis is here also, wife of Larry. And Peter Rosum, former council member. And then First Gentleman Robert Wagner, thank you for coming. You're here. And then also, wow, Ben Allen came up also from, where are you at? Thank you for coming up. And I also understand Kathy Joffrey's here also. So, wow, what a distinguished group to come here and dedicate this. So, anyway. Warren Madden. Okay. And Warren and Bev Madden. See, where do I stop? I'll just keep on going. So, anyway. But thank you so much for coming on this momentous day. And I wish we could take credit for the great weather, but we're just enjoying it. Just a beautiful, beautiful day. This park obviously has been come to fruition because of the generous contribution of the Hiras, but also because of the partnership between the City of Ames and the Ames School District. And Jerry Peters was over here with the Ames School District, and just having a vision for creating a gorgeous park. Obviously, Ames needs more housing. But boy, we need green spaces and park too. And this is just a phenomenal addition to this neighborhood. And I think you all would agree with that. So, and one of the things that our city council is very committed to is building strong neighborhoods through public investment. And you hear the term public-private partnership. Well, that happens a lot in the city of Ames, and this is a great example of that occurring. And so on behalf of the Ames City Council, and the City of Ames, I just want to personally thank Tahira and Labh Hira for their contributions and helping make this become a reality. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Sarah Cady. She's the Park and Recreation Commission chairperson, and she's going to share some words, and then she'll go ahead and introduce the next speaker.
Thank you, Mayor Haila. My name is Sarah Cady. I am the current chairperson of the Parks and Recreation Commission. Also here from the commission today is Nathan Shimonek. So thank you for coming out. And for anyone in the audience or watching at home, Ames has a number of public commissions that are appointed by the mayor. They're citizen-led commissions on a number of items: planning and zoning, parks and recreation, public arts. And so if you're looking for a way to get more involved with the community, the commissions are a great way to start that journey. So you know, everyone here, there's so many neighbors here, you know, we know this park was a tricky and sensitive project. You know, as Mayor Haila said, developing housing in the urban core is an important goal for the City of Ames, but this neighborhood is really unique in its proximity to campus. You know, it's a mix of single-family housing, multifamily housing, commercial spaces, and you know, although Franklin Park isn't too far down the road, it's not really a great thing to have children crossing Lincoln Way to go to the Franklin Park. And so that kind of kicked off the community conversation about how to use this space. There's conversations about adaptive reuse for the building, That was a challenge given the age and the asbestos in the building. And so really the neighbors saw this as an anchor for their neighborhood and wanted to preserve it as a green space, as a gathering space for families, for friends. And, you know, as Mayor Haila said, the public-private partnership, the advocacy from the neighbors to preserve this as a green space, the fundraising and the generous donation from the Hiras. You know, much like Roosevelt neighborhood, this neighborhood really came together to make something special, and it's really wonderful to see it here today. You know, and it's finally, after so many years, it's not just a green patch of grass. So thank you again for coming out today to celebrate with us, and thank you to everyone who has worked so hard to make this project a reality. Next is Kathy Schnabel from the neighborhood to talk about the process of creating this park.
Thank you. Does this work? Okay. All right. Well, this is a very happy day for our neighborhood, and it is a day that has been kind of a long time coming. It was just about 9 years ago this fall that Bob Sill and Sue Ravenscroft, and I thought Bob was here. Bob's here. Sue's back there somewhere. Anyway, yeah, they called a meeting of the neighborhood, which was held right over there, kind of behind the basketball hoop in the gymnasium of the old Edwards School. And they knew that Edwards School was due to close in the next little while, and they thought the neighborhood should be thinking proactively about what we would like to see here. And thanks to their forward thinking, we were able to work with the school district and come up with a plan which I think made everybody happy. It did take some, some different trial balloons, but in the end, those of us that had lived here for a while and those of us that had children knew that we had met a lot of our neighbors on the playground and in the green space, and we hated to lose that central gathering spot, and so we wanted to have a park here. And the only problem with that is that it meant that the school district would not be able to sell the land for development, and they wouldn't be getting that money to help offset the cost of taking down the school, which was an expensive undertaking with the asbestos and all that. So the neighborhood came together and raised funds to donate to the school district to cover that cost, and I have to say that people were extraordinarily generous. We really didn't have to work too hard at shaking the trees. We got the money, and we covered those costs. And on behalf of the neighborhood, I want to express my gratitude to everybody who donated to cover those costs. And I'm just going to call out one donor who is Doug Provo. And Doug lives in a red house over there on the corner. He made a very generous donation, and Doug is 98 years old and has lived here since, I think, 1962. The house was brand new when he moved in, and he has been advocating on behalf of the neighborhood pretty much ever since then. So special thanks to him. I did try to get him to come here today, but he said he's 98 and he doesn't have that much energy. So, okay. Keith Abraham and I are working on a plaque, though, to thank all the donors, and I'm not sure exactly where that's going to go, but each of you that did donate, your name should be there, and again, thank you. And finally, I want to give a big thank you to everybody who worked on this park, who made this park a possibility, because it has turned out to be so much more than what I had even envisioned when we were talking about it. Something about having the school gone so that it's, the neighborhood can see it from different sides. It's even more of a gathering space than I had anticipated. And as you can see, there are people here all the time. There's people, little children on the playground. There's older children or college students playing basketball. There are people walking dogs, there are people sitting on benches and admiring the view, there are people playing Frisbee. It gets a lot of use, and it's just an enormous asset to the neighborhood. So thank you very much. And with that, I will introduce Keith Abraham, the Director of Parks and Recreation, who also had a big hand in making this happen.
Thank you, Kathy. So I always play cleanup on these things. You know, I'm in the number 4 spot, and usually when I get to this point, everything that I have listed on my sheet already gets said. So I'm not going to rehash a lot of things, but I will say, from my standpoint, one of the best things of developing parks like this is getting to know the people in the neighborhood. And we have what we feel is a really good process where we get together and we talk to the neighbors and we ask them what their vision for the park is and what types of activities they want to see. And then we go through and determine what kind of amenities need to be in the park so that vision and those activities can come to fruition. And as you can see, and Kathy just mentioned a lot of the activities. One thing that she didn't mention, one of the first times I came out here, there was actually a group of rugby players that were practicing, which at first I wasn't quite sure what they were doing, but it was really a neat thing. But with these parks also is we wind up, they continue transition, they continue to develop. We're looking at the Public Art Commission has been talking with Tahira and Labh about a potential art in the park project. There are some other things that we will continue to do. So that's the neat thing. But the best thing, like I said, is getting to meet the neighbors and getting to know who they are and why they're so passionate about it. And in this park, there was a lot of passion from the neighbors, and you've heard that from some of the prior speakers. I will give a few thank yous. I always want to thank the Parks and Recreation Commission and City Council members for their support of parks and recreation activities and park development, and always having that forethought to preserve these green spaces for our residents and do that as much as possible and provide funding. I know it's been said already a couple times, but the Ames Community School District, thank them for their donation of the land. So we could make a park, and this was the second time. They did it with Roosevelt Park as well, donated land to the city. Snyder and Associates did the site plan, so I want to thank them. Obviously, the neighborhood and their involvement and their guidance and input is so. Thank you to everybody in the neighborhood. REG. Just last week, Friday, they came out here and planted 15 trees. They put forward the funds and brought the labor out and planted 15 trees in the park, which you see around. The Opus Foundation gave a donation of just about $5,000 to help with the park development, and in a lot of this stuff, the concrete, the shelter. You know, some of the other things that are happening, a lot of this stuff happens with Parks and Recreation staff. We do have Joshua Thompson, who's our Parks and Facilities Superintendent over here. Go ahead and wave, Joshua. So he kind of leads a lot of our projects. So thank you to him, and thank you to all of our staff that was involved in the project as well. So we talked about meeting people. Prior to this park development, I did not know Tahira and Labh. I had never met them, heard their names, but I will tell you that through this process, you know, phone calls, meeting them at the hotel, whenever they were in town, and so on, I will say that I'm hard-pressed to find a more genuine, sincere couple than these two individuals. They are incredible. And it's and through the conversations, it's every time I talk to Labh, you know, maybe every couple of months, every 3 months, something along those lines. And one of the first questions he always asks, how are you doing? How's your family? Those types of things. And again, that's just in the meetings with the two of them. And obviously, they haven't lived in Ames, for a little while. They live in Florida now, but their generosity to give back to a community such as Ames, where they lived a good portion of their life, and provided so much, to the university, to the community, to the state, even at the national level with some of their involvement. And now their generous donation to help bring this park to what it is to today. So it has truly been my pleasure to get to know the two of you, and thank you so much for everything that you have done for this park, and just with the friendship that I consider a friendship that we've fostered over the last couple of years. Really means a lot. So thank you, Labh and Tahira. And with that, well, let's give them a round of applause first. And with that, we'll have Labh come up and say a few words. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Keith. It's really been fun working with Keith. I told my wife, I said, Keith's wife must be really frustrated. She said, why? He said, because you can't get mad at him even when you want to. He's that kind of guy. I want to thank the City Council. It's really truly an honor and a privilege for us. We take it that way. We mean it that way. So we were really touched with the unanimous approval by the City Council. Thank you, Mayor, and the City Council. And Parks and Recreation recommendation was well received. We truly appreciate that. And there were some individuals who did the most of the heavy lifting. Kathy Schnabel and Joel Barber are the one, and Sue Ravenscroft, who did the project to try to make this happen. And so far we are concerned, it was an easy job for us. By the time we got involved, the job was done. So thank you for all you've done. I also want to thank some individuals who provided support at the City Council: Jeff Johnson, Brad Shader, Sue Ravenscroft, Melissa Rowan, and I'm sure Peter Rasmus. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. So thank you for all you've done for that, for vouch for us at the City Council. And we're glad to see so many good friends here, although I must admit some of them are hard to recognize. It's because I didn't have my glasses on. And I also want to thank some friends who, some of them had to come here from St. Louis or California, and we truly appreciate it. And this is a very special community. We spent about 32 years living within a few blocks of here. We used to live a house over there where Brad Shader lives. He got a screaming deal on it, and so, as you know, my wife took quite a few assignments out of the city. So when I will walk around here alone, people are wondering if there is some problem in the Hira family. So this means a lot to us, and this is a special community. And I want you to know we are who we are because of the people we work with on campus and the neighbors we interacted with and some of the civic engagement we had, although I must admit my wife had more civic engagement than I did because I had enough of a trouble holding on to my job on campus. So thank you everybody for coming, and thanks. Thank you.